1 year. 1 year of vlogging, and then I don't know how many months. Well, the vlog and the podcast are really the same thing. I mean, by the podcast, I mean mine, which is artist, personal journalist. I just convert a lot of the vlogs, like conversations and reviews and story times, into audio, put it into a podcast format. Some people feel it's easier to consume that way, and I'd kind of agree because the audio is really the only important thing in those ones. This one will be on the podcast as well, so you can check that out. There's links to that in the link tree, which is in the description of every video, or at least the newer videos. Yeah, so a year. Whew. I feel like in the first 3 months of vlogging, I learned so freaking much. There was, I'll put that video thumbnail at the very end, to link to the video. There was a point where I felt like quitting. I was just gonna rage quit so soon because I could not get the video quality that I wanted when I was doing things like biking or what have, especially, well, it was mostly biking. If I had biking videos, man, the quality was garbage. The codec and the way that YouTube converted stuff was just trash. I had to force it into another. I don't want to get into all the technicalities right now, but I learned so much about editing within Premiere Pro, just about things that I could do better. I feel like after the first 3 to 5 months, I haven't really done anything different, other than content. Changing some content up, not doing certain things, or doing things slightly differently. I keep saying I want to do things like take notes and really kind of think more about what I'm going to say. And at the same time, I usually also say, hey, this is the way it is. Just off the cuff, I just kind of start talking, and that's what makes it me. And that's true too. So with certain things, I definitely would like to be a little more not formulated. I like to plan a little more. Just write a couple things down. With the reviews, when I did the top 10 albums that changed my life, those are some things that I did a little more writing on, just with certain songs that I wanted to talk about. I reflected on those a little more, and I still haven't finished them. I think I still have 3 albums to go, which is ridiculous. I've been doing it forever. But especially now, I have less time. I'm making less time than I was before. So anyway, but yeah, I really feel like the last 6 months, especially, not much has changed. I have not done any research into different technical processes to make things better. It's not like I've ever gotten a mic or anything either, so the audio is still the way it's always been. I haven't done a lot to change my editing style to make things more exciting. I haven't really changed how I operate that much with just I guess demeanor. I mean, however I feel is the way I feel, and that's the way I just represent it. And I don't know, I haven't done any research. There's so much stuff out there being hey, you know how the camera adds 10 pounds? Well, it also takes 10% or 10% or more excitement away. It makes you need to go over the top when you're excited, or you want people to think you're excited. There's all this stuff that I had ran into in the early months or weeks of last year when I started vlogging. So there will be some older videos that I'm pointing out here that will be at the very end that you can click on to go watch, especially the introduction to the vlog and why I was doing it. And I mentioned it has a lot to do with mortality, anxiety, mainly those two things, but connection and just wanting a connection, how that connects or how that relates to legacy. Those are the 4 main words, I guess, that I would connect all together is legacy, mortality, anxiety, and connection with other people that got me to start doing the vlog in the first place. There's a lot of other reasons too, as I highlight in the introduction video, being inspired somewhat by John Hicks, starting to really get more serious about mountain biking and just wanting to show the beauty of the city I live in. I started doing these art process videos. I just kept adding more videos that I would do, types of videos, instructional videos, these behind the curtain ones where every once in a while I talk about what is it that vlogging is doing for me? How is that changing me? How am I changing when I vlog and when I don't vlog, and just my daily life? So yeah, I kept adding more videos. Eventually I took away the 2-cent rants because I just felt like they weren't serving me. I felt like if the topic was strong enough, I should be able to talk about it in a conversation rather than just rant like a crotchety old man. Or if I am going to rant like a crotchety old man, at least it could be just in a vlog for just a minute or two. It doesn't have to be a big thing. I generally don't have time constraints on things. It's just like, I mean, for the vlog in itself, I like to make it no more than 20 minutes. I feel like 20 minutes once a week, that is, I don't know. I find that it would probably get watched more. That's just what I feel if it was shorter. And sometimes I need to make 2-part vlogs, you know, or in 1 or 2 cases 3. Like if I go on vacation, sometimes I take a lot of footage and I really like it and I want to edit it and whatever. Yeah, I'm trying to think of how things have changed in the past 6 months. And I mean, the thing is, right now, all I can think of is the rest of my life and how that is going to change vlogging, not so much how vlogging has changed the other areas of my life. I feel like the first 6 months there was a lot of differences that I was doing. Things have just changed very naturally since then because this is just something that I do, but it's also not something I do in the same way I did 6 months ago. And part of that has to do with now, like, having family stuff in the mix and having some kids that I'm around frequently, having like for the first time in a year, I've had like a committed partner too. So that's something that wasn't there within the first 6 months. Longer than that, like I didn't have a long-term relationship, like a committed monogamous like relationship. I wasn't anything serious before in that time. So yeah, I don't know. That's a new thing too. Is like sometimes getting her in there. Now she feels a little more comfortable with it, and I was fine with her not being in there too. But I mean, I don't know. I'd like to share the whole picture if I can, and obviously there's sometimes I can't, and I don't even want to. Like, but a lot of the time I really like to show the whole picture. And I mean, if someone's with me, and then they're with me, and I don't want to pretend they're not there. But yeah, it's mostly the time thing. That's what I've really noticed a lot since spending time in this more family dynamic. Still feels weird to say sometime because I'm like, I haven't been around long enough to be considered family, I think. I mean, one of the kids is so small, I don't think they understand that concept. The other one understands the concept. I just don't think that I'm there yet, or maybe they don't understand the concept as much as I think they could. I don't know. But it's been a time thing. It's being around with my attention is not able to just be on me as much, and when it was on me, there was a lot more that I like needed to get out, I needed to say, and I wanted to express and express and express. And now some days, it sounds weird, I just don't get to think of me as much, which is kind of, I guess I never really thought about it like that, but I don't get to think of me as much and things I want to express and things I want to do. I think about it in an abstract, like, I would like to do some painting, I would like to do some writing, I should definitely do that, I need to make time for that. Or the fact that I'm like, man, I really need to edit the vlog. Like, for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks now, all I've done is the vlog and conversation weekly and no other videos. Like before, there were times where I had a video every day because there would be a review, there would be an art process, I would go biking, I would whatever. And there's a lot of reasons besides time that hasn't happened because, well, I mean, most of it is time. But I mean, the weather and cooperating or not cooperating with biking is one thing too. And then also, if I'm riding the same trail over and over again, I'm not going to shoot and post a video of it every single time. But yeah, I guess that's a good thing that came out of this video already. I don't think of me as much, and that's a weird thing to say and feel. I would like to think about myself more, but think about myself more in the context of this other part. I don't know. Sometimes I don't get the time or energy to really be aware of myself. I just get to be aware of my feelings somewhat in situations and how they are reacting to the stimuli in front of me, the stimuli being like sometimes kids having tantrums. So, I don't know. That's just a thing that's there now. And that, like I said, I think the past 6 months have been more about how my life has changed the vlogging and the documenting and the expression in every way, more so than how my expression of vlogging or the podcast and stuff has been changing how I act in life. I definitely feel more natural with when I'm vlogging, how I'm vlogging. I'm starting to create a little more time than I was a month or two ago and seeing the importance of where I need to make time and how and for whatever. I still want to continue, put it that way. I do still want to continue this. I don't think it's just because of the habit of like, well, I started it, so I just need to finish. Well, there is no finish, right? That's like saying, well, how long am I going to paint for? How long am I going to have visual art in my life? There's no end. It just, if for some reason it ends, it's not something that's a planned obsolescence. There's no reason that I should or would want to stop. That's difficult with the thing like the vlog, because I feel like depending on how busy my life gets, I might just have less and less videos, but I can't imagine just stopping outright. I like the documentation. I like speaking to the camera. I like the conversation. And most recently, finally, someone, and this has to do with the Artist Life podcast, which I'm doing alone now. I've been doing it alone for the past couple of weeks. And someone reached out, a complete stranger from the States. They have a podcast too, and they reached out to give me some positive feedback through a voicemail on the Anchor.fm platform that I used to host the RSS feed for the podcast. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. It's fine. I won't explain it right now. But I want more feedback, so maybe I want to focus on getting more feedback. And I think what I want to do is have this is less quantity and more quality, right? Like, I want to do some more planning. Because of the feedback I got in that Artist Life podcast, it wasn't like, hey, that thing you did, it was really great. And then I was thinking, I need to do that more. No, it did. They gave me positive feedback, and they even challenged me to think about maybe why. I mean, the podcast that I did, that episode was about contemporary artists and their legacy, or maybe lack thereof. And they were like, hey, why don't you think about this thing? Like, this is something that maybe you could have thought about. And I was like, oh yeah, hell yeah, that makes complete sense. I'm going to talk about that. That got me thinking about how I can change things for the Artist Life podcast. And instead of just going right into the topic like I would with a regular conversation that I have on this channel, where I just be like, hey, this is what I'm talking about, and I just talk about it, and then I stop talking about it, about maybe having like kind of different segments. Like, I thought about like quick thoughts or something like that for like the first little bit, maybe reflecting on last week's episode if anyone had had some input, or I had some afterthoughts that I wanted to add, and like maybe taking some notes, and then going into this week's theme, talking about it to its conclusion, and then at the end, if people have given me feedback or asked me questions, I would love that. I just feel like that would be a more, I don't want to say professional, but I mean, I think it'd feel more complete, especially now that the podcasts aren't as long as I am doing them by myself. I'm sure eventually I will reach like a 1 hour, Artist Life podcast on my own. I've done that when I've had conversations by myself, not very often, but it has happened. It all depends on the content and what I'm getting out of it, and the momentum and the new ideas and thoughts that are blowing my mind while I'm talking out loud. That doesn't happen every time, and that's okay. But definitely it went from like averaging to an hour to now the past two have averaged like a half hour. And if I kind of do some things differently, maybe I could make it a little longer, make it feel a little more complete, and be happier with the product. That involves some planning, some just writing things down, and to really express them in a more, like I said, complete and full way where I'm happier with the product. It's not, and this isn't like a product that I'm selling by any means, right? But it is, in some ways, it's a brand. In some ways, I'm trying to, in a roundabout way, I am selling, because I put this out through FK Arts, and that is a brand. Like, that is a part of me. That is my, brand for my art. For mostly, I would say the vast majority of it is visual art. And I rarely include, when I write stuff, I put it on the Instagram FK Arts page. When I make the videos, like I said, it's through FK Arts. And early on, I played around with, like, do I really want the videos associated with that? Because a lot of them are way more personal, have nothing to do with art, except for the fact that that's just me and I live and breathe art. So it's not like everything is taken through an artist lens, because some things don't relate. But I am an artist, and I put things in an artist context on, like, from daily life on a daily basis so much that it just made sense to me. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to, because there are art process videos there too. I didn't want to have to make 2 channels or 3 different channels. Make one just for biking stuff, make one for visual art stuff, make one for just the conversations. Like, I just felt like I'm just going to put it all in one. This is just me. This is me. This is it. Now, if I was doing this from like a financial perspective, if I did that full time, I probably should have 3 different channels. If I was like, yeah, these are biking videos and I can talk about this and do like, but I would need so much time. Like, I don't delve into things as much as I'd like to sometimes. I just don't have the time to do it because I have other things to do. I need to be able to actually work and make money and pay rent, and I have personal relationships to maintain that I want to maintain. I have my personal art practice that I can't just, this is a whole different thing. And how it started originally, I just enjoyed making all these different types of videos. I just started originally as a place to have conversation and to kind of vlog my life and the biking videos, and then I started doing this other stuff, like all the other types of videos and the playlists that are created there. So, yeah, it just kind of snowballed, and then I started slowly backing off and figuring out how to spend my time with it. Like I said, I haven't really done much in the way of researching and changing my editing style and things like that. It's one of those things where I'm like, it's good enough. Like, I know how to work the program. I don't think it's crazy horrible the way that I edit videos. So, but I would like to change how I come to a conversation or come to a review or a story time or whatever. Especially, like I said, with Artist Life Podcast, it's a little different, and it is going to seem a little different. Again, with everything that'll go on the Artist Personal Journalist, which is just these on FK Arts channel vlogs converted into audio, that's pretty much going to stay the same for the most part. But I mean, I do want to do more planning. I want to take some notes. It doesn't take a lot of time to do that, and I think it would actually help me organize my thoughts more. I was also thinking about, sometimes I start a video and I stop it and I restart, and I stop it and I restart. It's been very rare where I've talked about the whole thing and then restarted it again. It's happened maybe once or twice. And I don't want to do that. Part of me was thinking the other day, man, I had all these great thoughts after I talked about it the first time in full. But I'm never going to really be able to say the exact same thing again. I don't want to script it. I don't want to go back and review what I said and take notes and whatever. So that's why I want to kind of preemptively, try to stop myself from re-recording things or also preemptively combat forgetfulness of, I should have brought that point up. Why didn't I think of that? By thinking about the topic more in advance, by having some ideas and just jotting things down. It's not hard to do, and yet I don't do it. And I really, really think that is what I'm going to start to do. I didn't even do it with this video, but I've been thinking about it. Sometimes it takes me a long time to arrive at committing to change sometimes, which is something that I actually want to talk about in a conversation soon. But yeah, as for behind the curtain stuff, I mean, I think that's really it that I can talk about at this point. Like, I feel like maybe the one thing where the vlog can change the rest of my life in a way is by treating, I don't know, for some reason that word professional comes up and I don't really like that, more organized, better planned, better executed, more complete feeling, rather than I just express it and that's it. So I would like to approach things a little more, professionally or complete. And so, I mean, that's one reason I made an Etsy account now. It's trying to reach audiences further than local. Yeah, I didn't even think about that till I said it right now too, because I mean, that person from the States that left me this voicemail, I mean, the majority of listeners of the Artist Life Podcast, because I get all this data that I hardly look at anymore, are from the States. I don't remember how much of the majority, but it's a majority, a big majority, like maybe 70% of listeners are in the States. I only know really one person in the States. It's not just all them. So, yeah, just getting a larger audience for myself is something I want to focus on, I guess. Why not? And yeah, through Etsy, if I need to ship things that I'm making, like whether it's the jewelry and stuff that I make now, I haven't put that stuff on there yet. But yeah, I just trying to do things in a more complete way. And once it becomes habit, it should be easier. It should be quicker. Once I get into the habit of doing things in the way that I find to be better and more professional or what have you. I hate using that word. I need to find another word. I keep saying complete, but that's not really it either. It's just better organized, and I don't know what the word is. But I mean, if you're interested in the process of things, I can see these behind the curtain videos becoming less and less and less as I figure things out more and more and more. Things will still change. The way that I do things will change for whatever reasons. There'll always be a reason, I think, to make these videos, but early on, there was a lot of different reasons. I was figuring things out so much. I'm still figuring things out, but I get comfortable and I do things for a long time, and then I eventually commit to a change, and then whatever. I think about change a lot before I commit to it, usually. And then once I commit to it, I usually do pretty well with maintaining it. Sometimes, depends on the thing. Sometimes it's much harder than others. But in saying that, if I get feedback, I will use that feedback somehow. Either just thinking about it, or commenting on it, or creating a discussion, or it might just be like a featured question and answer thing. I would like feedback. I would like conversation. I stopped asking for that so long ago because no one actually, reached out in any way that was useful. Like, it just didn't happen. So even on my Instagram stories, sometimes I'm like, hey, ask me anything. Like, ask me questions for the day. Maybe I'll give you an answer. And I hardly get anything there. It's really rare that I do, especially anything of substance. Sometimes people reach out just like in a silly way, and that's fine because I like those people. But I would like feedback. I would like questions. I mean, anything about me or art stuff in general would be fantastic. I don't know. Or even just like, what books should I read, or what kind of things do you? I don't know. I just think that would give me more. I have plenty that I can say on my own, obviously. I haven't run out of things to say, but I would value that relationship between me and the person listening and or watching, to have even more authentic, genuine connection, rather than just me reaching out in a way or just expressing into the void, and someone maybe listening, maybe not listening. But I know that people are. But if you take a couple of seconds to give me any feedback or ask me any questions, I'm going to repeat that I would value that and somehow use that. And it would be fantastic. That's all I can really think of right now. But I'm excited now that I had this conversation. I'm excited for this new year. I'm excited for what this avenue of expression will give to me. Yeah, we'll see you on another time.